This episode of the Real Estate Ripple is brought to you by
the Three Rivers Association of Realtors RPAC Committee. Hey, TRAR members, are you feeling lucky? Grab your guests and join us for RPAC Trivia Night on Thursday, March 14th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the historic Jacob Henry Mansion in Joliet. Get your green on for a St. Patty's Day themed night packed with dinner, trivia, and plenty of laughs. Tickets are $50 per person or $400 for a table of 8. It includes dinner and one drink ticket. Plus, there's a cash bar to keep the fun flowing. Members can purchase individual tickets now on the TRAR website at trarealtors.net or by calling the office at 815-744-4520. If you would like to reserve a table of 8, please call the TRAR office prior to purchasing tickets online. Don't miss the chance to show off your trivia skills and have a shamrocking good time. Space is limited, so get your tickets today.
Contributions are tax deductible for federal and tax services. Contributions are voluntary and are used for public purposes. The amounts indicated on real guidelines, any may contribute more or less than the suggested amounts. The National Association of Realtors and the state and local associations will not favor or disadvantage any member because the amount contributed or decision not to contribute. You may refuse contribution without reprisal. Up to 30% be sent to National RPAC support federal candidates and start candidates under 2 U.S.C. 441A. A copy of our report filed with the state board of elections is or will be available on the board's website or for purchase from state board of elections Springfield, Illinois. Except as may be required by state or federal law, Illinois Realtors RPAC. Illinois RPAC is not required to refund local contributions. However, refund requests will be considered on a case-by-case basis as long as they are received within 30 days of contribution.
Welcome to the Real Estate Ripple, where every conversation makes waves in the world of real estate. I'm Christy.
I'm Joe.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Carl. And each week we bring you the latest insights, expert advice, and game-changing tips on everything from market trends and lending strategies to local developments right here in Joliet and beyond.
Whether you're a seasoned realtor, a mortgage pro, or just passionate about property market, this podcast is the one that's going to keep you informed and inspired.
So let's dive in and make some ripples together. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Estate Ripple. And in honor of Women's History Month, we're going to dive into how women have shaped real estate, both as professionals and homeowners.
That's right. Women make up a huge part of the industry, but they've also faced a lot of barriers along the way. Today we're talking about progress, challenges, and the road ahead.
And we're joined by two amazing women. First is Heather Glockler. Before attending law school, Heather spent nearly 10 years working as a paralegal across various practice areas. After graduating from law school, she joined Castle Law as a 711 or 711?
711.
You can tell I'm not a lawyer. 711 licensed law student, where she played a key role in prosecuting local misdemeanor cases within traffic division. Admitted to the Illinois State Bar in 2019, Heather quickly advanced to the role of supervising attorney for the traffic division. Today, she specializes in real estate, land use, and corporate law. Additionally, Heather co-leads the Castle's Summer Law Clerk Program.
And we also are here with Nora Gruenberg. She is our Government Affairs Director, which we otherwise call a GAD. And Nora Gruenberg joined the Illinois Realtors team in January of 2022. Her career path includes communication positions in higher education, nonprofits, and the private sector. As a political consultant, she worked on municipal, countywide, and state legislative campaigns, developing fundraising, communications, and field operation strategies. She has also served as staff for State House and Senate leadership and has sat on various boards of directors. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us.
Impressive resumes.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, let's get into this. So let's start with some numbers. 66% of all realtors are women. That's a pretty big shift from the past, isn't it?
Indeed.
Absolutely. That is a huge shift, especially considering in 1908, when NAR was founded, it was dominated by males. So having that 66%, that's huge. It just shows that the real estate industry is a wonderful tool for women to get involved with.
That's so interesting.
And isn't that why Women's Council of Realtors was formed, I believe, back because women weren't allowed to be part.
There were no
right?
women realtors
Right.
in 1908.
Yeah.
So I think
Was it in 1938 that the women's realtor convention was formed, I believe.
Yes, I think that's when WCR started to become a thing and all of that. Yeah, absolutely.
But yet women couldn't buy their own homes until 1974.
Correct.
So they could sell the house, but they couldn't buy the house.
Yeah, we're skipping ahead. I have that in my notes, but yeah.
They couldn't buy it without a male co-signer.
Correct.
Right.
Until ECOA,
Yeah.
Equal Credit Opportunity Act. So that was in 1974. It made it illegal for lenders to deny credit based on a single woman. And fun fact, I don't have this in my notes. I just know this in my brain. But like single women on title in the 70s were called spinsters. Like next to their name, it would say spinster versus single woman.
If I had known that that was a title that was available to me when I was younger, I might have changed my whole trajectory. I can be a spinster.
Yeah. But back then, I feel like that wasn't a compliment, right?
No,
That was
certainly
a
not.
Huge derogatory. But now it, through the early 90s, it was actually still like that.
Unreal.
That
Just
is
doing title exams as an attorney, you
I bet
still
you see that.
You still see it. And the first time I saw it, I was like, what is this? And it's a real thing.
And I believe that term goes back to unmarried single women spinning yarn, spinning wool to make a living. Spinsters, yeah.
little fun trivia fact. I did
How
not
about
know
that?
that. Oh my gosh. See,
Women be knowing things.
we know a few things for sure. So leadership is another area where women are underrepresented. Have either of you experienced or seen the glass ceiling in action?
I've had my face smushed up against it.
Okay.
I think we all have.
Yeah.
I mean, the glass ceiling is real. It does exist. But I find, especially in the circles that I move in, I feel that the women that I know look up at that glass ceiling and say, come on, we're going to take the stairs, or we're going to take the service elevator, tell the others.
Yeah.
There are ways to circumvent the challenges that are put before us and that try to limit us. And I see women breaking through those barriers all the time. And that's not to say that the challenges are removed or that they don't exist. It's just, I can't imagine anything more creative and motivated than a woman with a goal who will not let the restrictions of our society stop them. And I feel like I'm sitting at the table with some of them right now.
Yeah.
I love
Heather, what
that.
about you?
Yeah, I love that. So I think that unfortunately the glass ceiling is something that many women in the legal profession, including myself, do encounter. It's not about one specific employer or profession. It is a broader pattern that exists across many industries. Of course, we've all experienced it. I'm not unique in that. I do worry sometimes, for our younger generation, but just helping, like what Nora said, just helping people up, like, oh, let's take the service elevator. I love that. I love that metaphor, because you have to have your mentors, you have to advocate for yourself, and building strong networks is something that's going to help you kind of break past that barrier and find that crack in the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And I think, too, that, sorry to interrupt, but I think that women in leadership, I think women in general, we're more likely to advocate for others and other women sometimes than we are to advocate for ourselves. And that's where that mentorship piece is so key.
Yeah. Have you guys had a mentor who made a big impact on your career? Can you think of one? I'm sure you can.
Thousands.
Several. But if you want to pick one.
So one of my biggest mentors is an unlikely ally. It was a male attorney, George Sturr. He practiced in Joliet for 30-something years. He went to law school late in his career, and I stumbled upon him because I was a paralegal at the time, and he was offering a part-time position. My first week working for Mr. Sturr, he asked me, he said, Heather, when are you going to law school? And I said, oh, George, I'm never going to law school. And every week after, he would keep asking, and I was there for about 2 years before I told him I was sitting for the LSAT. And he was the biggest supporter in all of that. And again, like, he was an older gentleman. He, you know, really championed for me to do those things. And it was just, you need to have allies and mentors, somebody that believes in you. So I would say that he was one of my biggest mentors, and still to this day, if I need something, I just call him and he'll offer his guidance.
We need more men like that.
Yeah.
Allies, you said it.
More allies.
Absolutely. I think it's I have this strange thing where I feel like everyone that I talk to and meet can be a mentor, because everyone's got knowledge, insight, information that, you know, that I can utilize and then pass on to someone else as well. So I have a really hard time narrowing it down. But, you know, when we talk about how the Realtors Association from the national down to the local level started with 0 women as members and then slowly grew. And now, despite the fact that the upper echelons of leadership are still largely male, there are powerful women in leadership positions. And, you know, from here at our, you know, at Three Rivers, our CEO, Amanda Burns, has been, you know, an incredible mentor, because I was very new to the real estate industry when I started as a government affairs director. Up to the state level, we have our executive vice president, Kristen Butcher, our general counsel, Betsy Urbance, and then, not to play favorites, but our senior advisor for government affairs on the state level is Betsy Mitchell. And these women are so ready to share their information, their knowledge with all of, you know, not just the members, not just the staff, but I always feel like I can reach out to them and get real talk, real advice. And, you know, that's for an industry that has had a shortage of women in leadership positions. I am so proud to be a part of an organization that has women at the highest levels of leadership.
Love it. Some girl power.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so fun fact, single women own about 2.72 million more homes than single men in the U.S. Why do you think more women are prioritizing home ownership? There we go.
So I did a little research on this, and it was kind of interesting that a lot of the women in this study are actually older. So they were 65 years or older.
Wow.
Interesting.
And not a huge, you know, a huge portion of that, but if you think about it, our generation dynamics are shifting. So women tend to live longer. So if they ended up purchasing that house with their husbands, and their husbands are now, you know, passed away, they're now the homeowner, so it transfers to them. Or for whatever reason, they decide, hey, you know, I don't want to be in this family home anymore. I want to get a condo. I don't want to take care of the yard.
Downsize.
Yeah, so they're downsizing. They're moving closer to family. So I thought that was really interesting, because it shows you that, you know, just the family dynamic there. And also, with that being said, women want that financial independence. They want that stability in their lives, whether they're, you know, single parents or, you know, perhaps just they need to have a space of their own that they can call their own and not have to worry about anything outside their 4 walls. So I think that's really important for that. And it's an empowerment for them, because they are, you know, they're setting goals and they're obtaining them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All of that and more. And I think, too, that despite the gender wage gap, you know, I think what it comes down to is different modes of risk taking. I think for, you know, just the way that our society is set up, I think that oftentimes it's easier for men to take professional risks where they can be more mobile. You know, women, girls being socialized to be those caretakers and nurturers, planting roots, being close to friends and family.
The stability of
the stability, and, you know, not just the financial stability factors that Heather mentioned and the longevity issues, but and that wanting that place of your own, the American dream of home ownership, and recognizing that home ownership leads to generational wealth and that stability, but also in taking risks. While the gender wage gap does demonstrate that women earn less dollar for dollar than men, they're willing to invest in their future in this way, despite the fact that they may be putting down smaller down payments or may, take on a larger mortgage. But that risk for them to build that stability and put down those roots and create that general wealth, that's a risk they're willing to take, perhaps more so than, moving to a different city or a different state to chase, a little more money or a higher status position. So, I think that there are some cultural aspects to this, but I also think that it's because we can.
Yeah, exactly.
We are the most educated population. We are
generation.
Yes, it is empowerment, like Heather said, that this is, we're doing what we want to do because we can, even if we have more limitations or fewer access to resources. We're resourceful and we're going to do it.
Yeah,
so.
And this is kind of my opinion, but it might be, I'm sure there's some truth to it, is, it's more socially acceptable to be single. People are getting married later in life. I mean, that's a fact.
Yes.
They're getting married in their 30s versus their 20s. I don't know what the exact statistic is, but I do feel like women are staying single longer, or, and unfortunately the divorce rate is higher now. So women are just staying single. Because it's a shift, right? We're seeing a shift. And so I think it's interesting that in 2022, 19% of home buyers were single women compared to only 10% single men. And I just think that's an interesting number for sure, almost double the percentage. So why do you think women are leading in home ownership? Like, why do we think that statistic is?
Because women lead.
Because women lead, exactly. Perfect answer. Mic drop.
Yes.
We're done.
That's it.
I'm out.
Podcast over.
And just to go off of what Nora said and to elaborate a little bit on that, not only do women lead, but we can do it all. We can have it all. We might not have it all at once, but we can have everything. So just knowing that, you have the ability to pick up a power tool and turn on YouTube. You can fix that. You don't need a man to fix that. You can, learn to plant that garden and, have chickens and whatever, your mini cow, while working and raising, raising a couple of kids. I think that men, they might, have different values as far as, home ownership goes. They don't need to settle down. Maybe they enjoy that big city living and, they enjoy, and I'm not speaking for all men, but there's different values that go into each of the gender roles. And I think that the home ownership is just something that women are really striving for, to have that stability.
And I think, I mean, speaking from experience, I feel like that's something, like, my mom wasn't able to do it on her own, right? And our grandmothers weren't able to do it on their own. So, like, they've empowered us to do it. And I think we want to do it as young women. Like, we want to be able to stand on our own 2 feet and not rely on our husbands or significant others or whatever. So,
yeah. Going off of what you were saying, this is just a side note, but in our house, my kids know I'm the one to hang the lights in the house. I'm the one to fix the washer and the dryer. And it's not because my husband can't. It's because I don't need to have a honey-do list. I hate that term.
You want it done now.
I'm doing it. If there's a list, it's a list for both of us, and we should both be tackling it because we're both homeowners. And yeah, I mean, he'll come home and he's like, so you tore apart the washer. I'm like, yeah, because I fixed it. It's working now.
it's done.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times I've done that, and they'll be like, oh.
There's no quicker way to get my husband to do something than to start doing it myself. Yeah. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I, as a divorced mother of 2, I know my limitations, and I am not afraid to make that phone call and say, hi, I'd like to order a repair, please.
Love it.
I'm not afraid. I know my limitations, because once I start taking apart that washing machine, there's no going back.
Oh, I've fixed it.
I believe you. I'm going to call you.
I believe you.
I'm going to call Christy.
YouTubes.
Yeah. I'm calling you. I'm calling you next. I did fix a vacuum once. The thought that I was pretty awesome and was going to apply to MIT. So
Love it.
I only did it once.
There's still time.
You still can.
How you like them apples?
Okay, this also goes along with something that Nora was saying, in that women tend to earn less than men and face higher housing costs relative to the income. What resources are out there that can help women succeed as homeowners? Because obviously we want women and also men, young men who might be listening. What are some things that we can use out there that can be a resource to help succeed?
We are the resource, Realtors Association, and our connections with different stakeholders, organizations, levels of government are, we like to educate and advocate to our members to share information and provide public-facing programming to connect the public with, the Illinois Housing Development Association, administration, different state level programs, countywide programs that we have that can help offset first time home buyers, their mortgages. That there are a variety of programs that are available that people just may not be aware of. So if the Realtors Association can continue putting out not only educational programming to equip our members to share that information with their clients, but information for the public so that they look to the association as a resource to pair them with these different organizations that can help match them with resources and tools to help them achieve their goals. So that advocacy and education piece is huge because there are resources available.
Yes. And we're all here willing to help and give our expertise, obviously in the end,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you went first on that question. No, when you said that, it's about your team, right? So if you have the right team in place, you don't need to make 17 phone calls. You make one phone call, you get connected with the right people immediately. So yeah, use your team, use your resources. I was also going to touch on the community programs. There's the housing grants available. Different lenders also may have different programs available. Again, your real estate agent, your real estate broker, those people are going to know who to connect you with for, to best help you navigate those items. But
love it.
There's tons of resources out there, so get your team ready.
I have a huge passion for this as a lender. Like I've helped 5 single moms last year purchase homes, all with down payment assistance and like very minimal out of pocket. And it's almost like the best kind of challenge because how little can I get this person in this home for, right? And every single one of them had the same thing in common. They just wanted a stable home for their children, right? Because they were single moms. And I'll tell you what, those closings feel the best. And knowing that you educated them and empowered them, and now they're all talking about, in a year, I want to turn this into an investment property and purchase another home. And now I want a home. My favorite, I'll never forget, at the closing table, she cried and she said, my goal is to have a home for each one of my 3 children. And now she has the team to do that. And you guys, there's no greater feeling. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That is the dream. The American dream of home ownership.
Yep. And it's alive and well. It's so alive and well, whether you're a man or a woman. Like, it's so alive and well.
Now we just need to build more houses.
We just got to build more houses. We're doing it. We're doing it. So there's some great organizations supporting women in real estate. So we mentioned Women's Council of Realtors, Crew Network, NAWRB, just to name a few. Have either of you been involved in any organizations supporting women in real estate, or?
I have worked with the Women's Council on programming, and it's a great organization, a great mission, and I love too that there are male members involved, even on the leadership level, to show that allyship, that they recognize that women are not just the statistical majority in realtor world, but are leaders as well, and to be supported by our male allies. It's very encouraging.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that, there are other organizations beyond these ones. However, for the legal industry, I I try to get involved in a lot of those, like the Will County Women's Bar Association, and just like the women focused ones. And it's always interesting to see every time I go to the Will County Women's Bar Association meeting. We just did a judges panel, and I've worked with a lot of the judges on the bench in the past, and I know them through the association. And the craziest thing is that not only do real estate agents or realtors face that the boys club mentality, but women in law also faced it. They weren't allowed to join these bar associations for the longest time, so they had to create their own in order to be a part of anything. And now the allies, the male allies, are coming and they're joining these organizations too, because they realize how important it is. For real estate and the legal industry, there were a lot of, it didn't happen until recently where women were able to have a voice. They were able to have a face on the bench or a face at the table. And I think that's really important to understand when you look at the history of both real estate and the legal profession and how they've grown, and have so many women kind of championing for that that spot at the table, if you will.
Beyond the organizations, what's one thing women can do to level up in real estate, whether they're an agent, an investor, or a homeowner?
So I think mentorships, having your network.
Yep.
Having your network.
Network is your net worth.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
So true.
Yes.
And then just, as a woman in any profession, and this goes like across the board, you need to bring your sisters with you. If I'm up here, I'm not looking down on you. I'm trying to figure out how I can get you there too.
Join me on the service elevator.
Yes.
We're going to the roof.
Hold the door. Yeah.
We rise by lifting others.
You have to. And I think that the sooner you learn that as a female, in business, in the real world, in your career, in college, in grade school, whatever, the sooner you learn that you are not my competition, you are my advocate, you are my, you're the person that we're going to get there together.
Collaborator, co-conspirator.
Exactly. And the sooner you learn that.
On that for sure. Because I don't know about you guys. When I was a kid, I feel in school, it was, you had the mean girls, right? It was like, let's tear each other down. And now I feel like I felt it shift, at least, especially in the last however many years that like women supporting women has become awesome. And like, this is what we're focused on. And I don't know about you guys. I try to surround myself with those people.
Definitely. And I do still see evidence sometimes of that mean girl phenomenon, but I feel that the shift, a male-driven industry, a male-driven world tends to be more competitive and cutthroat, whereas I do feel that the feminine nature tends to be more cooperative and collaborative. And I do feel that hyper competition amongst women, this scarcity mindset where there's only enough for me and mine, I do feel that there has been a shift towards a more cooperative, collaborative, kind of feminine approach with women in business across sectors. And I'm here for that.
Yes.
That's what I'm here for. And
I think women in leadership has a lot to do with that.
Yes, it does. And that holding that service elevator door open so we can all get up to the roof together and then look down through that glass ceiling and say, hi, we're up here now. The view is great.
The view is great up here. I love that.
And it's better together.
Yes.
We are better
always.
Together. Yeah, always. I agree with that. So we're going to close with, if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, if you were just starting out, what would it be?
That's easy.
Okay.
Trust your intuition. It is a gift. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Mic drop.
I like that.
Yeah.
How about you, Heather?
So I find it a little bit more challenging, but I think embracing the value of your prior experiences and not underestimating the power of transferable skills.
Ooh, love.
Because I went to law school a lot later in my career than most people do. And I just capitalized on all of that life experience.
Yes.
I had a family when I went. I was coaching basketball for, my son's team, and I was doing law school. I was doing all of these things at the same time, and I was doing it full time. And really just capitalizing on those experiences really, I think people need to do that. So use your real world experience and get through it.
You know what they say, if you want to get something done, ask a busy woman to do it.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah.
Girl.
Love it.
So many good nuggets in this. I feel like I'm going to need to
know.
take notes.
So many
know.
great
All the
nuggets.
quotes.
You guys are great. Thank you.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we have so many awesome things that have been brought up. But if we were to summarize it and give one message, takeaway for any women who are listening, what is your one, after all this conversation, all your thoughts, what's your takeaway that you would like people to have?
I think that I'm trying to find it now. The International Women's theme this year is moving forward together, women educating and inspiring generations. And I think everything that we talked about today just really hits home on that theme this year. So I think that I would just leave you guys with that.
Yeah,
that theme.
teamwork, working together.
Absolutely. And for me, reflecting on why there are so many women in the real estate industry now and the affiliate industries that we work with, I want to remind them of how far they've come, that their sisters of yesteryear would be so proud of them, that the work that realtors do to make dreams come true, to build communities, it's a creative force, and just the incredible mix of soft skills and tough negotiation skills and grit and determination. I hope that everyone who's listening, and especially our women listeners, really just take a minute to reflect on the power that you have, and you own that power, and keep on using it for good.
You two are amazing.
Amazing.
You are.
Thank you
guys
so
for
much.
your time.
Thank you.
I want to just hang out with you guys all the time.
I know,
Let's
me
do
too.
coffee talk.
Okay. I'm sold.
So,
Take two.
thank you both so much, Heather and Nora, for your knowledge, your experience, your everything you bring. And to our listeners, keep celebrating and supporting women, not just through March, but all the time.
Every day.
Every day. Yep. And making an impact in real estate. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Real Estate Ripple. We hope you're walking away with some valuable insights and a fresh perspective on the world of real estate.
Be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Whether you're on the go or closing deals, we've got you covered every week.
And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd love for you to leave a review and share the Real Estate Ripple with fellow realtors, lenders, and anyone who wants to stay ahead of the ever-changing market.
Until next time, keep making waves in real estate, and remember, every ripple counts.